So by the time I get on the scene, my son just laying there. I'm just trying to get to my baby because I know he wants his mama.
It seemed like it went from, everybody fighting, you could get jumped, all
Scared to
that, and
get
then
beat up.
it turned somewhere where it was like, all right, we're not doing no more fighting. It's all about shooting. So I'm curious from for you.
I love that he did that. He brought it back from like, the old days when people used to actually throw hands and it was one-on-ones going on and everything like that. I actually love that that he brought that up. But you can tell that this interview gets like very in depth and real emotional from the first clip of this interview. This is like a probably like a 10-minute clip actually. Let's get back to it.
You, when did you find out, like that day that your son got killed? Like, when did you find out? How did you find out?
Uh,
Take your time with it. Definitely take your time.
You can only imagine that she has gone through this moment so many times, but this is like the first time she's like going through it publicly and having to just relive the tragic events that took her son away. That's very like she's unpacking so much trauma whenever she's speaking on these events. It's very telling.
my son had got suspended from school. He had an altercation with a teacher, uh, a security guard. So he kept begging me, Mom, I want to go back to school. Mom, I want to go back to school. I had people that I worked with downtown. So prior to that, my oldest son, he started hanging with his little crowd. They started getting into trouble.
Okay, so it's good to know that like she knew that he was into like some of this and some of that. You dig what I'm saying? She's not one of those. It's good to know that she's not one of those moms who like tried to like model it as if her son was like some, like a, you know how some mothers will be like, oh yeah, my son was like the model student and everything like that. He went to school and he got straight A's and everything like that, but don't know about the other side of things and what they, what their sons or daughters was doing, you know, on the other end of the spectrum. So it's very telling of like transparency that she is saying like, yeah, I knew he was into some things.
So one time he got in trouble. There wasn't nothing I could do to help him. So he had to go to boot camp. The way I raised my kids, because of me losing my mama at an early age, is y'all hold on to each other no matter what, because y'all got.
Very true. Very true. You instilled that into him early on.
I had kept instilling my boys this, that, and the other. took them to counseling. We went to parent classes. I did everything I could. So once my oldest son got in trouble and went to boot camp, because he was the man of the house. Then
So I guess what she's basically explaining here is that like her son had to basically grow up real fast. He had to grow up real fast in that type of environment. Speaking on like, basically him getting in trouble and getting kicked out of school and her doing whatever she could. It just feels as though like, she was like a single parent. This is like a single parent, single mother household, and she has to basically do the best she can, while also still juggling and, either one job or multiple jobs. I know I can definitely relate to this because I come from a single parent household, and my mom had to do what she had to do to raise me and my sister the best way she could, even even still doing that while still trying to make sure food was on the table, even still doing that and still being able to go to work. um
it was time for TOOKA to step up because his brother was gone. So I got a little daughter.
Take your time.
I got a daughter, and that's all he wanted to do, My brother gone, because they took care of their little sister. So he felt that was his responsibility now. So I go get him. He get kicked out of school or whatever for getting into it with the security guard. I get him back in school. So that day he came home from school. He told me, he said, "You know what, Mama?" He said, "I just want to say thank you." He said, "Because a lot of these parents, they not going to get their kids back in school." He said, "But you took time. You got, your connects and got me back in school so I could get my education." He said, "And I just want to say thank you."
Take your time.
Man, he said that on that exact day. Wow. He told his mom thank you for getting him back into school after he got himself kicked out of school. Man, that's real. That's real. I'm sure this exact moment and day like really sticks inside of her head, like for real, for real. Just explaining that right there, because that's something I did not even know. I mean, I had seen the Say Cheese interview that she did, and her basically detailing that part of the basically just the part of like the other parts of the story that are gonna come up, but like this key part right here, I didn't even know about. So
He told me, he said, "I'm going to do right." He said, "I'm going to show you that what you did ain't going to go unnoticed." He said, "Because I don't want to end up in jail like my brother. And I don't want you to have to bury me. And for things like that, I had to bury my baby." He had went to school his first day back. After me getting him back in. So I'm on the phone with him because I'm the type of parent, they old enough. I had to get them ready over the phone because I'm already at work. I'm getting them ready for work. Come on, you gotta go.
so like with this part of it where she was basically explaining about him being basically telling her, I don't, I'm gonna do better this time, and I don't want what you did for me to go unnoticed. I start to think of like, a lot of like families in the black community who don't have a two-parent household. And there are a lot of stories just like this one, you know. But what really highlights this story is that, like, you know, in a way, and I'm not coming from a disrespectful place when I say this, TOOKA has a lot to do with drill music being like prominent. Um, just the fact that his name is used so many times in music, that really makes drill music relevant. No disrespect at all. Um, but like it's really, like I said, it's really telling about the two parent household being very absent in the black community. You know, in impoverished communities. Forget about black communities, but just impoverished communities where it's just like the single mother. You know, it's primarily commonly the single mother. Sometimes you have the single father. Um, and just like that whole entire structure being broken down to where it's always been like that. It's just sad that it's always been the single mother, the single father, the the single mother, or the single mother and the single father, the mother and the father. You venture to wonder where is Tuka's father in all of this, you know? Where is he at in all of this?
Go to school after when you've been doing good, you've been doing good. He okay, mama. Woo, woo, woo. He get up, take his little sister to school. He go to school. Some way, somehow, I don't know. We get into it with a teacher or something. So they sent him home or whatever. He didn't go. He didn't come home. He stayed around because he had a wrestling match. So he called me. He said, I'm on my way home. I'm on my way home. He said, I won my wrestling match, mama. I'm on my way home. I talked to my son. That was at 6:04. 8 at night. I get a phone call 8 minutes later, my son dead. I'm like, how? I just got off the phone with him. And like, that's how we do. That's how we knew to call you. I'm like, that ain't my son, that ain't my son. That somebody got his phone. So they described over the phone. They didn't even say he was dead. They just said he got shot multiple times. They didn't even tell my son was dead. So by the time I get on the scene, my son just laying there. I'm just trying to get to my baby because I know he want his mama.
But what's crazy about all of this is that he's still laying there. They still got him just in the street like that. Like he's still laying there. Like, bro, how many out, bro? Nah, that's crazy, bro. It's already too much to have to hear that your son got shot, but to actually be there and see that his body is laying lifeless on the concrete floor with blood and everything like that. That's just, I'm sure that's just a horror movie for her at that moment in time.
I would never thought at me sitting my baby after school would be the last time I see my son. He was just he was just laying on that cold ground, and I was just studying, trying to get to him. But they wouldn't let me get to my baby to help him.
Definitely. Did you did you have anyone with you at the time?
My family, they had met me over there. They had met me over there. And I just couldn't believe it. Like, my body was in shock. The police and them just study trying to pull me back, because I'm study trying to get over there to my son, because I'm just like, let me just see him, let me just see him. They like, you don't want to see him like that. Like, I had busted my knees, I had busted my elbows from them holding me back. The zipper print was around my neck, and I didn't feel it till 2 weeks later. He was just an average kid, trying to live life as a kid should.
Right.
He was where he was supposed to be. Ain't no such thing, he was at the wrong place. No, he was like, the bus stop coming home.
Did the police ever catch?
They trying to make it seem like my son is like this powerful person. They trying to make it seem like he like a Herb Gotti or some Larry Hoover or something, like he just this powerful gang member or some stuff, you know. They say, the police told me, well, don't nobody want to cooperate with us. Don't nobody want to give us no information because he was this powerful person. And the streets want their revenge, they self, they don't want to, you know, the police help.
I'm sure that she's gonna say that they have not solved, like they have not solved the murder of her son. Um, and just unpacking and just really unpacking more on like who her son was. It like I said, it it's definitely with her description really telling that she knew that he was like she said, he was an average kid. I mean, I don't just by what she said, like he was an average kid, but you know, he was still in the whatever he was into, you know. So, but
That's wrong, because around there, St. Lawrence, like I say, that's where we moved to. My son and played with all them around. You know, they grew up together around there. So when they came up with the TOOKA gang and the TOOKAville, that made the police feel like we ain't got to do our job because he a gangbanger. I'm still trying to find closure to this day. But, whew, me talking about this violence over this nonsense. I don't want nobody else. I don't want no more kids to die. And I don't want no more mothers to grieve. So me talking to at least one person, get somebody to change that man and turn it around, then I think I have done enough.
she's kudos to real life street stars, man, for putting together from putting together this magnificent interview. Um, just being able to get this woman to sit down and actually talk is it, it's you're like they deserve an applaud for that, and like she's very courageous herself for even wanting to sit down and go public and talk to anybody about what happened to her son on that specific day. It's probably like I said, it's probably one of the best interviews I've seen. Um, I've seen that like there are like people who are mad about the interview. Oh, like I don't think it's this interview because this interview looks amazing. But I think it's the one that she did with Say Cheese. I think people are like mad about that one because you know they they say that like Sean Cotton is like being uh doing like some Vlad type things with the interview. Whether it be that he's not a Chicago platform, you know, and he's like a Texas platform. It'd be better if it was maybe a Chicago platform interviewing her. Really, to me, I don't feel like that matters. I feel like, and this is coming from somebody I'm not street or nothing like that. I don't really know about Chicago. I only know what I've heard in drill music. But I feel like as long as she has a voice and a platform to like push push any type of negativity uh in a different direction and put positivity into things, then I think that's all that matters. I don't it shouldn't matter where she does an interview at, as long as it's coming from her soul and her heart. This woman has been holding on to all of this energy, all of this for like 10, 11 years, so why shouldn't she have a platform? But that's the end of the reaction. What did y'all think? What should I review next? And I'm gone.